My champion. It's all over. He called me. He's giving me back the file.
Really?
What do you mean?
Because there's one thing I couldn't do.
What couldn't you do? Hey.
This damn bankruptcy is a life of its own.
What couldn't you do?
I couldn't undo the bankruptcy. Sorry.
Hello everyone, this is Peet Entertainment and we are back again, and here now we have another video in our Unrated Underappreciated movie review series, and in this edition we will focus on the personal drama Changing Lanes. Released on April the 12th 2002, it stars Ben Affleck, Samuel L. Jackson, Toni Collette, William Hurt and Amanda Peet, and it was directed by Micell. Now the story of Changing Lanes is that we are set in modern day, focusing on the tale of two individual men. We have a middle-aged insurance salesman, Doyle Gibson, who's involved in a custody battle with his wife over their two sons. We also learn that he's a recovering alcoholic, and we see him having constant meetings with his sponsors. We then look at successful lawyer Gavin Banek, who's looking to finalise an acquisition of a charity foundation from a recently passed owner for his law firm. Now both men's paths cross on a crucial day when Doyle is on his way to court for the custody settlement and Gavin is also on his way to court to complete the acquisition. Both men crash their cars into each other on the freeway. When Doyle wants to get details for insurance, Gavin dismisses him, giving him a black check and drives off in the distance, leaving him stranded. Now things work out bad for Doyle when he arrives too late in court and ends up losing custody of his kids. Now Gavin gets to court on time but realises he's lost the crucial documents needed to complete the acquisition. Desperate and under pressure from his bosses, Gavin has up until the end of the day to find the documents. Doyle finds the file and tells Gavin that he won't return it to him, feeling that Gavin was responsible for him losing custody. What then follows is a bitter war between both men as they look to undermine and destroy one another, going to extreme methods as the story escalates. Now Changing Lanes is a very compelling character-driven story showing how people can make morally challenging decisions that are fueled by human emotions under stressful situations. This is much more of a personal drama rather than an action thriller, keeping the conflict very grounded and therefore more believable. There's no climatic fight scenes or shootout finales here. The antagonism is driven by pride, ego and desperation. So even if we don't agree with everything that the characters are doing, we at least understand them, and despite this movie being made in the early 2000s, the movie's theme still has a relevancy that can connect with audiences in today's climate. Now some may look at this dynamic as a simple good versus evil guy, maybe try to apply some racial perspective with the young, white, hotshot lawyer and a working class black man who was an alcoholic and an incompetent husband and father. But I really don't see that message within the movie. I don't believe it's trying to provide any racial or satirical commentary. It keeps the focus on the characters' scenarios rather than their ethnicity or cultural background, and that has to be respected. Now of course the film works because of the two lead compelling performances, which are even more interesting given the actors are very much going against type and the personas that have been very much the definition of their careers going towards this movie's release. Now Samuel L. Jackson had risen to prominence within Hollywood, very much playing flamboyant, powerful, charismatic and fiery personalities. And yes, there are some intense scenes involving Doyle, but this is very much more of a restrained character, much more flawed and wounded and fractured and far less imposing. He's under that constant fringe of losing control, very much addicted to chaos as what's referenced earlier on within the film, and it's roles like this that show Jackson's versatility and ability as an actor. Now what was probably the biggest revelation was Ben Affleck's role. At the time of this movie he was very much the pretty boy pin-up, far more established for his looks rather than his acting ability. But this role here was the first signs of the potential of a great actor within Ben Affleck. In his role as Gavin, he is clearly the least sympathetic character, as we learn he also had a previous affair alongside the wealthy lifestyle that he is accustomed to. As his situation escalates, we see that he's snarky, agitated, yet he's still broken and at times confused as to what's going on and how exactly he'll get out of this situation. It's a superb performance, easily amongst the best of his career, which in its latter stages would go on to solidify his acting credentials and respectability within Hollywood with the likes of The Town, Gone Girl and also Argo, for which he won the Oscar for Best Director. Now I also credit the musical score by David Arnold, which is a sophisticated and composed fusion of techno, electronic beats and far more somber synthesized tones, which just lend a modern contemporary feel to the overall movie. I particularly like the music in the final meeting between Doyle and Gavin, when Gavin talks about meeting a girl on the beach, reflecting very much on his current situation. I just like the overall atmosphere built in this scene, which very much matches the tone of the entire movie. So if I had to give an overall score for Changing Lanes, I would give it a 7.9 out of 10. Now we talk about the movie's box office, and it was a success, growing $94.9 million from a $45 million budget. It also gained very good critical reception for its presentation of flawed characters in a personal story, and critics also praised the performances of both Jackson and Affleck. But despite this, Changing Lanes never gets mentioned in either the careers of Jackson and Affleck during reflection. Now this is likely because the film isn't as hyped or sensational within its story. There aren't what you would call iconic or memorable scenes or quotable dialogue. It's very much a deconstructive, somber drama which doesn't have much action or spectacle, so perhaps that's why it's not remembered as fondly when looking back over the two actors' careers. But despite that, Changing Lanes is still a well-crafted, compelling character drama with two great performances that definitely deserves far more appreciation many years post its release. So those are my overall thoughts and feelings and review of Changing Lanes. Let me know what you think in the comments below. How do you think it ranks amongst both the filmographies of both Samuel L. Jackson and Ben Affleck? Do you think it's right up there in the upper tier, or did you find it to be a much lackluster and disappointing drama? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you have any other films that you'd like to see me cover within this channel, then also drop me a suggestion and I will see if I can provide much more commentary on that film for you within the future on the channel. Please also hit and like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, stay at safe distances, and I will see you very soon.